Alrighty, so all right, so what do you call it? Today, we're doing our Black Bible Q&A, right? We're asking the questions that we've been had, man, about the Most High. All the deep questions, the tricky questions, just things we want to understand concerning the Most High, right? I have one that I want to get into, but if there's anyone that wants to go first, you guys can go ahead and do that. If not, I'll start with the question that I asked, and I'll answer that through the scriptures, right? Can everyone see the screen?
Con.
All praises. Yes. Yes, Hausa Micah.
I have one.
All right, go ahead.
Why does the selective Israelites say Yahushua was hung on a tree instead of a cross?
Okay. So let's see here. How do I get rid of this little thing? There we go. Everyone's still there, right? Everyone's there?
Con.
All praises. All right. So the reason they say that he was hung on a tree is because of this scripture right here. Acts 5:30. Acts 5:30, the God of our fathers raised up Yahushua, whom he slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath Yahweh exalted with his right hand to be a prince and savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. So when they see hanged on a tree, immediately they ignore the other scriptures that tell you Yahushua was paraded through the streets on his way to Golgotha to be crucified. Crucifixion is not being hanged on a tree, in the sense that they're thinking of being hung by the neck on a tree. Okay, that's not what crucifixion is. And if we go through the scriptures, we'll see the evidence for that. So first we'll see let's see where he was where we saw where he gets the nails in his hands. What do I want to bring up when Peter helped him? Carry his cross. Okay, let's go to Matthew 27 first and see what we get there. Okay, so after they had mocked him, they removed his robe, put his own clothes back on him, and they led him away to crucify him. All right, not to hang him, to crucify him. Now, keep in mind that when we read the Apocrypha, it tells you that the Edomites did what to the babies, right? Right? They hung them by the neck. So it's not like these guys in the Greek didn't know how to write hang on by the neck. Where is it? The babies were hung around their necks, and their families, those who had circumcised them, were put to death. All right, this is First Maccabees 1, and it says 61 here, but let's go to the chapter. Mothers who had allowed their babies to get circumcised were put to death according to king's decree. Their babies were hung around their necks. You see that? So there's Greek for hung around the neck. It's not the same as crucify him. That's a whole different what do you call it, process. So, okay, they lead him away to crucify him. Along the way, they found a man from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross of Yahushua. See that? Now, this cross is stauros is the word, okay? And it's a beam. So what they would do is they would nail you to the beam and then raise you up on a pole that was already standing, okay? So let's see. Let's see. Trying to find this stauros here. The cross piece of a Roman cross. The cross beam, in Latin patibulum, placed on the top of the vertical member to form a capital T. All right? So the man didn't help Yahushua carry no cross as you see in the Jesus movies. It wasn't the whole cross. No man can carry that, the pole that's in the ground. One man can't carry that. Okay? It doesn't matter how strong you are. You're not going to make it. You'll die before you reach where you're going. So Yahushua was carrying the crossbeam. Okay, and that was already hard enough. The Most High say, no man suffer like this man. No man was disfigured like him, right? Where is, I think that's just wanted to see the Thayers here. Okay. Well-known instrument of most cruel ignominious punishment, borrowed by the Greeks and Romans from the Phoenicians. So the Hamites were doing this first. It was fixed among the Romans down to the time of Constantine the Great. The guilty as criminals, particularly the base as slaves, robbers, the authors and abettors. So abettors is helpers of insurrections, and occasionally in provinces at the arbitrary pleasure of governors. So sometimes they crucify you just because they feel like it. Upright and peaceable men also, and even Roman citizens themselves, okay? And this is from Weiner's RWB under the word, this is just the title of the book here, okay? And also here, this is the citation, okay? Okay, so those are the two citations. Let's get another precept. So he was carrying the stauros. So the man had to carry the thing. Now, you tell me how you're gonna get hung on a beam that you carry. How you gonna get hung by the neck on a beam that you carry? Right? Have we heard of anywhere in history where our ancestors, for example, in slavery, had to carry a cross to go get hung on, man? They literally just strung them up on the tree. Okay. All that being said, though, the most important thing is the precepts. So let's look at another precept. I want to see where he shows the nails in his hands, right? The wounds from the nails. Why is he showing wounds from nails in his hands if they hung him on a tree? What does that have to do with anything, right? So let me see. Okay, let's go to John 20. Now, now Thomas, also known as Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Yahushua came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the master. But he said unto them, unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my fingers where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. Okay, so here's another clear indication that the man had nails in his hands, okay? And in addition to being pierced in his side by the spear. Okay, so what are nails doing in your hands if you were hung, man? Okay, where do we see in history where there were nails? And of course, it was not in his actual hands; it was in his wrists. Uh, that's some further research. I'm not really gonna go there right now. You can look that up on your own. Um, that's a further evidence that he was actually crucified and he was not actually hung on a tree. All right. So does that answer your question?
Con.
Khan, all praise to the Most High. All right, let's go. Let's get it. What else you guys got? Any other questions? All right, I'll bring up mine right now. So my question was, why did Hebrews keep worshiping cows, man, in the Bible, right? Why is it that everywhere we see our people, they keep worshiping calves, man, right? So to answer that, we'll go to Genesis 15. Right? Ben, read from 1 to the end, please.
After this, the word of Yahweh came to Abram in a vision. Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward.
Right. So the Most High appears to Abraham and said, don't be afraid. I am your shield. I didn't come to harm you. And I am your very great reward. Right? Because that's what Yahweh is for us Hebrews, man. Anyone who lives a holy life, Yahweh is our shield, our protection in this disgusting place, and our very great reward when we finish with this place. Right? Go ahead.
But Abram said, Sovereign Master, what can you give me since I remain childless and the one who will inherit my estate is Eleazar of Damascus?
Right. So what was happening here? Abraham was old, right? And he's like, well, what can you give me, Lord? Because everything I have, I'm gonna have to give it to this slave in my house, man. This guy Eleazar, I don't have no son, so I'm gonna have to give all of my inheritance to this guy when I die. Right? Read on.
And Abram said, You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir.
Read on.
Then then the word of Yahweh came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir.
Right. Go
And he
ahead.
took him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be.
Right. So the Most High said, listen, man, you tell me you don't have any children, but hey, this guy will not be your heir. He's not the one that's gonna inherit your stuff. And then he shows him the stars and says, you're gonna have that many children, Abraham. Remember, this man had no kids at the time and he's old already. And his wife is old. And the Most High tell him, look up at the stars and count that if you can. That's gonna be how much children you have, Abraham. Right? And look what happened. This is very, very important because this shows me why the Israelites kept worshiping cows, man. Right? This is the answer right here, verse 6. Go ahead.
Abraham believed Yahweh, and he credited it to him as righteousness.
Abraham did what?
Abraham believed Yahweh.
He got dipped in water.
Abraham believed Yahweh.
He went to the Christian church.
He believed in Yahweh.
He bowed 20,000 times at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem.
He believed Yahweh.
He walked however many times around the Kaaba stone in Mecca or wherever the hell it is. I think it's in Mecca.
He
No,
believed
exactly. Abraham believed Yahweh, and Yahweh credited it to him as righteousness. You see, the reason Israel keeps worshiping cows, even today symbolically, is because they don't believe Yahweh. They don't believe the promises. They don't believe the judgments. They don't believe they'll get punished for doing wrong, if I may put it simply, and they don't believe they'll get rewarded for doing the right thing. They don't actually believe Yahweh. Okay? That's why they keep worshiping cows. And I'm going to show you guys in a couple of scriptures the proof of that. Because Yahweh tests men, right? I wanted to put this let's see. Let's bring up this preset there. This is Second Ezra 1673. And this is also in the, anyway, this is the Bible, so I don't even want to use that language. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried, which is tested, man. And it's not no easy test. As gold in the fire, man. So you're gonna get the heat put to you to see what you're gonna do. Last Shabbat, we looked at a certain prophet who the Most High tested by having another prophet tell him the opposite of what Yahweh told him, and he went with what the man said. Israelites um uh will always be tested, and it's not no easy test. The Most High said, "You shall be hated by all men for my name's sake," right? But if you endure, you're gonna be saved. Okay, that's a test. Can you endure the hatred of your whole nation, man? Okay, now are they actively gonna fight against you? Some of them, right? Some will not. The fact is, you're gonna be in the hot seat as an Israelite, right? Practicing righteousness, an Israelite that believes you're God. You're gonna be in the hot seat. So can you take the hot seat, man? Can you separate from the world? Because the most I tell you, friendship with the world is enmity with God. Then he tells you in Proverbs 3:31, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Can you take the heat of not celebrating Christmas, Easter, none of these pagan feasts, man? Right? The Most High tries people. And what I'm going to show you guys in the next couple of scriptures is how he tries the Israelites. He gives them a very clear hierarchy and then tests them to see if they believe him, man. And they fail. And the mark of their failure is the continual worship of Satan, man. Instead of worshiping the Most High, they keep going back to worshiping Satan in the form of this damn cow, man. And guess what? They're still worshiping the cow today. Because when you look at the stock exchange in Toronto and in New York City, I'm sure it's in other places as well. This is in the financial district, man. Right? Baal, the damn bull, man. Moloch is a bull. This one here represents the financial system, money. And many Hebrews still worship money. Okay? This is right here in Toronto. There's another one in New York. Right? On Wall Street, man. You know, right? So they worship these things because they don't believe Yahweh. Let's go to. Oh wait, I'm not finished with. Wait, Genesis. Where did you stop? You stopped in 6. So read on.
He also said to him, I am Yahweh who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to take possession of it.
Right.
But Abraham said, Sovereign Master, how can I know that I will gain possession of it?
Wait. So he said, how can I know that I will gain possession of the land? Right? And then what does the Most High say?
So Yahweh said to him, Bring me a heifer,
That's
a goat.
heifer. A heifer. What is a heifer? Anyone who knows what is a heifer?
Female cow?
Yeah. Okay. So the Most High said, bring me here a cow, man. Read.
Yahweh said unto him, Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon.
Pause. So Abraham asked the Most High, how can I know that what you're saying is true, Most High? He already believed him, eh? No, the scriptures say he believed him. And then he still asked the Most High for a sign. And the Most High said, okay, well, bring me a female cow, bring me a goat, bring me a ram. Make sure each of them is 3 years old. Bring a dove, and a young pigeon as well. Okay? And look what he does with these things. Go ahead.
Abra- Abraham brought all these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite each other.
He
The
did
birds,
what?
however,
He did what?
mm, he cut them in two and arranged the halves opposite each other.
Right. So when Abraham brought the cow to the Most High, he killed it, man. The Most High had Abraham kill the cow and split the cow in two. And you're going to see that later on that the Most High is trying to show them, I'm above the cow, man. Okay? I'm above the bull, man. Okay? I'm above this strong creature that all of y'all worshiping like it's the best thing to ever happen in well, like it's the creator. I made Abraham kill this thing and split it in two, man. Right? And look at what Abraham killing it, splitting it in two. Look what this was the key to, right? Go ahead.
The birds, however, he did not cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
Then birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abraham drove them away.
Right. So a bunch of vultures try and come eat the animals, but Abraham chased them away. Go ahead.
As the sun was setting, Abraham fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him.
Uh-huh.
Then Yahweh said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there.
Right?
But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions.
Right. And that's, of course, a precept for the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. Um, it's not for the slavery in Egypt, as many so-called scholars and you know pastors like to say, because we were in Egypt for 430 years, not for 400 years. So this is actually a prophecy about the transatlantic slave trade all the way back in Genesis 15, right? But go ahead.
But I will punish the nation they serve as. Oh, you, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age.
Right,
In the fourth generation, your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure.
right.
When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham and said, to your descendants I give this land, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Keniz,
So sorry,
Kenizzites.
pause a second. I just want to go back for a second. This is actually a double prophecy. My bad, right? Um, so it was talking about the return to the land, but it's also more specifically talking about the transatlantic slave trade. That's why it says 400, not 430, because 430 is the exact amount of time that we were in Egypt, right? So this is kind of used uh not kind of, this is used as a double prophecy, right? And the imprecision is not a mistake, okay? It's something to point to the future, while also allowing people to see that, yeah, at about 400 years, the Israelites will return to this particular land, all right? Because we were slaves in Egypt for 430 years, then we came back to this very land that Abraham was in, all right? So just wanted to correct that there before we move on. Here's the important part though. Go from 17 again.
When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces.
It did what?
And passed between the pieces.
Right. So a smoking fire pot with a blazing torch, okay, appeared and passed between the pieces. Now, this is probably a mistranslation, because why is a smoking fire pot and a blazing torch passing? But we're not going to go look into the Greek today. All right. Even if that's what the image was, it passed between the pieces. That's the point. Between the pieces of the cow and the goat, etc. All right. And what did this symbolize?
On that day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham and said, to your descendants I give this land, from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates.
Pause. Wadi is just another word for river, okay? So from the river of Egypt, which is the Nile. So from the Nile to the Euphrates, all that is our land, okay? And from the borders of so-called Saudi Arabia, okay, all the way north. I don't remember exactly where it ends in the north, but that whole land belongs to us, and the whole land will be holy, as we looked at before, right? And then he tells you whose land it was, man, right? The Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, Jebusites, Hamites, basically, okay? Now, the Kenites, Kenizzites, I'm not quite sure about these, but I know the Hittites, Perizzites, the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Jebusites, these are all Hamites. Okay. But the point being, the Most High killed a cow, okay, and symbolically had his fire pass through the middle, okay, as a symbol of a covenant with Abraham, okay, that he would give them the particular land. Okay, so a dead cow amongst other animals, okay, being passed through by the Most High was a symbol of the Most High's promises that he would fulfill to Abraham, who believed him, and it was accounted to him as righteousness, right? So the death of this particular animal that Israel think is so strong and is God was part of the binding ritual to bind Abraham and his descendants to the Most High, right? So think about that. Let's go to Exodus 9 and 6. Whoops. Let's get that, please, Ruth.
And the next day Yahweh did it. All the livestock of the Egyptian died, but not one animal belonging to the Israelites died.
So here we have the Most High bringing plagues upon Egypt, and he killed all the livestock in Egypt, man. So when he brought the plague, people are worshiping cows at this time, including the Egyptians and Israelites, and he kills all the livestock of the Egyptians, including their cows, man, right? And none of the Israelites' livestock dies. So the Most High is showing, if these things are God, how come I'm just killing these things at will? Remember also the sacrifices in the temple once a year when the priests went in, you had to come in with the blood of a cow, man. You had to kill one of those to go in there. All right. Let me see if I can pull that up. There we go. All right. So we got Leviticus 16 and 3. This is how Aaron is to enter the most holy place. This is very significant, family. For him to enter the most holy place, this is very, very significant because you're going to see what was in the most holy place. He must first bring a young bull. So we went from a heifer. Now to go into the most holy, we went from a heifer to start the covenant with Abraham. Now a young bull has to die for a sin offering. Okay, and a ram for a burnt offering. That's the only way Aaron can go into the most holy place. Okay, which is the final room of the sanctuary towards the very back of the sanctuary. Only Aaron was allowed to go there once a year. Okay, and he had to bring the blood of this bull and ram for a burnt offering, or he would die. And if anybody else went there, they would die. Okay. So the Most High kills all the livestock in Egypt. Let's go to Psalm 78. and 48. Let's get that as well, Ruth.
He gave over their cattle to the hail, their livestock to bolts of lightning.
Okay, so this is recounting the Most High judgment of the Egyptians during the Exodus as well. When he was hitting them with the plagues. Okay, he sent them swarms of flies in verse 45 that devoured them, and frogs that devastated them. He gave their crops to the grasshopper, their produce to locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail, their sycamore figs with sleet. So I'm hearing whispers on someone's line, so if you guys could please mute. Says he gave over their cattle to hail, their livestock to bolts of lightning. He unleashed against them his hot anger, his wrath, indignation, and hostility, a band of destroying angels. Okay, so he gave their cattle over to the hail, man. Okay, and their livestock to bolts of lightning. So the Most High is here killing these cows again, man. These cattle, right? To show that he is God, not the cattle. All right. And what happened? Israel don't believe it, right? Now look how he I'm gonna show you. So this is he showed his power over them here in these scriptures that I just showed you, right? Why? Because he knew he wanted to use them in particular places. Okay. And this is where the test comes for Israel. So the Most High showing you, hey, I have dominion, not these cattle, right? But they don't believe him. And let me show you. I'm going to show you where the Most High puts the cattle in particular places, very important places, to see if these Israelites believe him or not, believe that he has dominion over these cattle or not. Let's go to Exodus 25. I'll go from 18. Let's get 18 to 22, please, Sister Kira. 18 to 22, please.
Okay. And make 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. Make 1 cherub on the end and the second cherub on the other. Make the cherubim of 1 piece with the cover at the 2 ends.
Right, so you're supposed to take 1 piece of gold and carve that gold and make the cherubim out of the same piece of gold. Okay, on the cover of the mercy seat. Okay, go ahead. Which was a chest that we kept in the most holy place, and inside the chest was the 10 commandments and the rod that Aaron had, all right, that he was doing the various works of the Most High with. All right, go ahead.
The cherubim are to have their wings spread upward, overshadowing the cover over them.
Right, so their 2 wings are supposed to be over the mercy seat, the cherubims, okay? So covering the mercy seat, their 2 wings are supposed to be. Go ahead.
The cherubim are to face each other, looking toward the cover.
All right.
Place the cover on top of the ark and put it in the ark, the tablets of the covenant law that I will give you.
Uh-huh.
There, above the cover between the 2 cherubim that are over the ark of the covenant law, I will meet with you and give you all my commands for the Israelites.
Right. Okay, and this is just the NIV plain English reading. All right. which serves our purpose here. So very plainly, it tells you the cherubim are on the two sides of the oh my gosh, the Ark of the Covenant, okay, which is the chest with the covenant in it. Here it doesn't give you the details that the rod that budded that Aaron had was in there, but it was in there. Okay, you can look that up. It's in one of the precepts. Right? So the cherubim are essentially our footstools for the presence of the Most High, because it says above the cover between the cherubim that are over the Ark of the Covenant law, I will meet with you and give you all my commands for the Israelites. Okay, so the Most High is above the cover between the cherubim. That's where the Most High presence would appear. Over the law, Yahweh's over the law, and the cherubim are guarding the Most High, who you can't see. Okay. Now watch this. So this is the cherubim integrated, right, into the worship of the Most High. Okay. Wait till you find out what these things look like. You might have a clue already. Let's go to 1 Kings 23. 1 Kings 6. Okay. 1 Kings 6, 23 to 28. Go ahead, Sister Kira.
Starting at 26, sorry.
23 to 28.
Oh, okay. For the inner sanctuary, he made a pair of cherubim out of olive wood, each 10 cubits high.
So for the inner sanctuary is what? The most holy place, family. So in the most holy place, there's a pair of cherubim made out of olive wood. Each of them are 10 cubits high. Now a cubit is 18 inches. 180 inches divided by 12. It's 15 feet high, man. Okay. There's a 15-foot tall cherubim in the most holy place. Two of them. We're going to read. Read on. Watch. Watch this. Go ahead.
One wing of the first cherub was 5 cubits long, and the other wing 5 cubits, 10 cubits from wing tip to wing tip.
Right. So they had a span of 10 cubits, 15 feet tall, right? And what is that? I don't know how many feet wide. How many what does it say? 10 cubits. 10 cubits would be 10 times 12. No, 10 times 18. Wait, did I miscalculate that first one? 15 cubits. Yes, I did. Wait. 1 second. 18. Yeah, 10 cubits high. Okay. Ah, okay. So yeah, same. The wingspan was the same. Yeah, the height and the wingspan were the same of the cherubim. Remember this, okay? So we're describing cherubim right now that are integrated into the worship of the Most High. They're in the sanctuary. Go ahead.
The second cherub also measured 10 cubits, for the 2 cherubim were identical in size and shape.
Uh-huh.
The height of The height of each cherub was 10 cubits.
Mm-hmm.
He placed the cherubim inside the innermost room of the temple, with their wings spread out.
Uh-huh.
The wing of one cherubim touched one wall, while the wing of the other touched the other wall.
So you can imagine a back wall, okay? Right in the middle of the back wall is two wings touching, okay? In the middle. And at the end of the back wall is two wings touching, all right? And between, yeah, and at the ends is two wings touching. And breaking those up is the two cherubims. So you have two cherubims on the back wall of the temple with their wings touching. Their wings are touching the edge of the wall and their wings are touching each other right in the middle. And under that is the Ark of the Covenant with two cherubim again on top of the Ark of the Covenant with their wings spread out, looking towards the looking towards the mercy seat. Sorry, looking towards the top of the ark. So they're bowed down. Okay. Take this in, family. The cherubims are bowed down and their wings are spread forth, and they're bowed down to the middle where Yahweh shows up to deal with the high priest. So they're in reverence to the Most High, and they're guarding the most holy place, these cherubims, right? You're gonna see this was a serious fire that the Most High tests the Israelites in to see if they believe him or not, when you find out what these cherubim look like. Okay, so read on.
And their wings touched each other in the middle of the room. He overlaid the cherubim with gold.
That's 28, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he overlaid the cherubim with what? With gold, right? So it looked awesome, these cherubim. Okay. Now, y'all ready? Let's see what the kind of what the body looked like. Let's see what the face of the cherub looked like. I said first Ezekiel, nice one. There's no second Ezekiel, buddy. Ben, read verse 10 here. So this is the account of the cherubs showing up with the Most High's chariot when Ezekiel sees a vision of the Most High coming to him while he's in Babylon. Okay, so read what he saw.
Their faces looked like this. Each of the four had the face of a
Oh,
human.
sorry. By the way, keep in mind, I'm gonna just pull up the King James. But keep in mind, every last one of these, this is one of the most, if not the most horribly translated chapters in the Bible. Okay, I have done the work to demystify this, which I will teach completely in a different lesson series. But we'll get what we can out of here. All right. And then we'll get into it. But I can tell you guys right off the bat that these creatures did not have four faces. That's a mistranslation. The four creatures, according to precepts and according to the deep study of the language, these creatures had one face. Each had one face. Okay. When you go to Revelation, I believe it's chapter 4, you see that they had one face. And the next scripture, when we go to Ezekiel 10, that tells you it's the same creatures he saw by the river. You'll see that they have one face in Ezekiel 10. So how come they have four faces in Ezekiel 1 and one face in Ezekiel 10 and one face in Revelation? It's because this is not translated properly. Okay, they actually have one face. Okay, but these heathens don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, so they translated the scriptures because they don't deal with precepts, right? In any case, read this and then we'll look at Ezekiel 10 to see what the cherubs look like. Go ahead. Verse 10. I can't hear you, Ben, if you're speaking.
As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man, and the face of a lion on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side. They four also had the face of an eagle.
So they had the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of what? A man, a lion,
An ox.
an ox, and a
Eagle.
and an eagle. I just need you all to remember that it said here that they had the face of an ox. All right, family? So watch this. Let's go to chapter 10. And we'll read verse 14. Go ahead, Ben.
And everyone had one face.
No, and
The first
everyone had,
and everyone had four faces.
right, which again is not true, all right, but we'll get into that later. That this is a mistranslation. They did not have four faces. Okay, the English interpreters said they had four faces. The Greek does not say they had four faces at all. But which we'll look at in another lesson series, like I said. But go ahead.
The first face was the face of a cherub, and the
Uh-huh.
second face was the face of a man, and the
Uh-huh.
third face of a lion, and the
Uh-huh.
fourth face of an eagle.
And then 15 says,
And the cherubims were lifted up.
uh-huh.
This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Chebar.
So where did he see a living creature by the river of Chebar? That was in Ezekiel chapter 1, family. He said this is the same creature he saw. But what's missing here from the faces of the creature that he saw in Ezekiel 1? Sister H, what is missing here from the four faces? Sister H, you there? Let's go with,
Sorry, I just stepped away for a second.
no, it's all good. Did you catch what we were saying or no?
No, I hadn't, no.
That's fine. Babe, did you it's fine, Sister H. Sister Yael, did you catch it?
Repeat the question.
What animal is missing? Which face is missing from Ezekiel 1? Did you hear both scriptures? If you didn't, you won't be able to answer the question.
I heard it, but I don't remember. Is it I don't remember. Let me see.
Let me go back. Yeah, if you want to pull up Ezekiel 1 and read verse 10 and then compare it here to 14 and tell me which animal face is missing. Do you need me to pull it up or you got it?
If you could pull it up. We got an answer in the chat.
All right, who was it?
Brother Justice, a ox?
Ox. right? The face of the ox is missing. In one, it tells you they had four faces, right? They four had the face of a man, the face of a lion on the right. They had the face of an ox, and they had the face of an eagle. But when you read in 10 there, it says everyone had four faces. The face of a cherub, the second face was the face of a man, the third face, the face of a lion, the fourth, the face of a eagle. All right. Now, let me see. I think it's Revelation 4:7. Let me just have a look here before I say anything. Yeah, I think that's what I want. All right, cool. Now, if we read here in Revelation 4:7, the same living creatures that are rolling with the Most High are described. And it describes them here as the first living creature was like a lion, the second was like a ox, the third had a face like a man, the fourth was like a flying eagle. Out of all the animals, what does the cherub look like? With these clues, family. And you will see, again, this is the test that the Israelites failed. They did not believe the Most High was greater than these particular creatures that, or this particular creature that they revered, right? And he tests them with it by incorporating it into the design of the holy things and of the temple. Because remember, Yahweh made these things before um what do you call it? Man began to worship these things, and he made them for his purpose. So they're getting their wires crossed, even though he's trying to show them, why you getting your wires crossed, man? It's about me. So this cherub, what did this cherub look like based on the evidence that we just looked at, Ben?
An ox.
An ox, man. So you have a thing that looked like an ox over the Ark of the Covenant. You have two big ox-looking things in the most holy place. Okay? These are guards, essentially, right, of the Most High. This is his pomp and his pageantry, okay? Because he's a great king. So all the things you think is great serve Yahweh. The eagle, Esau think it great. It serve Yahweh. The ox, what you call it, Ham especially, think it's great. It serve Yahweh. Man, serve Yahweh. And what was the other one? The lion, the king of the so-called king of the jungle. All these things serve and bow down to Yahweh, especially the damn ox. So Yahweh incorporate these things into the worship, and it's not just in the temple like this. I'm gonna show you guys two other scripts right quick. To show these things incorporated into the service. But the Most High already showed them who's greater, but they didn't believe him. That's why they kept worshiping the damn cow, man. Let's go to 1 Kings 7. Let's get 23 to 25. Ruth.
'24 to 25.
23 to 25, please.
And he made a molten sea 10 cubits from the one brim to the other.
Right. So one of the people that was carving was making uh dishes for the temple, made a bowl. Okay. He made it out of molten bronze, if I remember correctly. Okay. And it was 15 feet in diameter. Okay. Big. It was 15 feet in diameter, sorry. Right? Read on.
It was all round about,
Right?
and its height was 5 cubits, and a line of 30 cubits did not compass it round about.
Mm-hmm.
And under the brim of it round about there were knops compassing it,
Uh-huh.
10 in a cubit,
Right.
compassing the seat round about. The knops were cast in 2 rows when it was cast.
Right.
It stood upon 12 oxen.
It stood
Three,
upon what?
12 oxen.
So the bowl, and I believe this was the washing bowl for the priests before they went into the temple. The bowl sat upon 12 oxen, man. The oxen are there serving the Most High once again. They got the bowl on their backs and they're doing their thing, right? Now people are probably watching that like, yeah, the Most High is watching Israel like, yo, we're 12 oxen. The oxen must be God. How does that make any sense, bro? All the Most High is saying is you're strong, man. But you're strong not by dealing with the oxen. You're strong by dealing with him. Who the oxen worship and bow down to, man. He is greater than the oxen. He's putting the oxen to work. He's splitting them in half to make covenants. You have to kill them before you come and make an atonement for your sins. But they didn't believe that. They believed it was the damn oxen. Right? So it stood upon 12 oxen, read.
3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking towards the west, and 3 looking towards the south, and 3 looking towards the east.
Right? Just like how the camps were set up. Okay, the Most High tabernacle was in the middle, and you had three tribes north, south, east, and west. Okay. That's all. Keep
And the
reading.
sea and the sea was set above upon them, and all their hinder parts were inward.
Right. So the back part of the cow was towards the middle. All 12 of them, their back parts were towards the middle, and the big bowl was resting on them, and their faces were facing the people. Okay. So now you begin to see the test. The Most I tell you what it is with him and the cow. Then he set up bare cows to do things in and outside of the temple, right? To see if you believe in the cow or you believe in Yahweh. Second Chronicles chapter 4, verse 2 to 4 is a precept for this, what we just read. You can write that down and read that on your own. So the cow was put to work, but instead, Israel did this. I'm going to look at more scriptures here, and that's it. I got Exodus 32 from 1 to 6. Let's get that, please, Sister Kira.
1 to 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, I think my phone's moving a little slow. Um,
What's happening with the phone, you said?
oh, it's moving a little slow, but I can read now.
Okay.
And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we would not what is become of him.
Right, so we don't know what the heck happened to Moses. So make us gods, Aaron. Hey, Aaron, make a god for us, man. The thought of this is insane. You want a man who is not a god to make a god using some gold from your earrings? How does that add up? Your mind is bad, man. And it's been this mental struggle with our people from the very beginning. They just don't have no faith, man. They gotta see everything in front of them before they believe it. And in fact, they will see the thing and they still will not believe it. That's why the Most High credited Abraham with righteousness because he believed him. That's why the Most High big us up so much. I think we looked at it last week. Because we believed him. He said, hey, these people haven't seen no wonders, yet they believe the thing I say. Right? But our people from the very beginning have had this huge struggle with having faith, man, and believing what the creator of the universe tells you that he's doing. Even when he showed it to them live and direct, they didn't believe, man. They still believed it was Moloch and Baal Berith and these other statues that they would have to destroy every time they came into the land of the Canaanites, man. They would be destroying the statue, but they still believed in the statue, you know. It's really messed up, man. Our people need help mentally, and we have for thousands of years, man. The mental work is the work. Even if you find yourself struggling spiritually, you have more mental work to do, man. You got to deal with your trauma. You got to deal with your addictions. Deal with the conditions that keep your mind in bondage, and you will be able to free yourself. Then you will know the truth, the Most High says, and the truth is the thing that sets you free. What is the truth? It's a paradigm shift. You no longer live in lies. Your mind is clear about what's true and what's not true. Esau can't trick you no more, man. Satan cannot trick you anymore. You believe the truth of the Most High and live according to that belief, right? In any case, make us gods. Yeah, we don't know what became of him. So, 2, go ahead.
And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And the people brake off the golden earrings, which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron.
Right.
And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Wow.
And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to Yahweh.
Yikes. So now he's mixing up the medicine. He make them a calf of gold. Notice it's of gold, you know. The one in the temple was of gold too. And this is happening before the temple is being set up with gold oxen in the most holy place and bronze oxen outside carrying the lavers. Okay, so in these people's minds, they have this cow, man. They have this cow worshiping, right? They got it from the Egyptians. And I would even chance and say they got it from the Babylonians before they got it from the Egyptians. So this thread has been going throughout, them not understanding the true purpose of this animal. Even though the Most High showed them straight what it's for. Right? Eating, sacrifice, and reverence and service to him, not worship. Right? And 6 tells us they rose up early on the morrow, they offered burnt offerings, brought peace offerings, they sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. And then verse 7, the Most High says, hey, go get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, they corrupt themselves with the damn cow, man. Tobit 1:5. Thank you, Sister Kira. Right. So even after, what do you call it? They didn't believe the Most High, man, and therefore they failed the test, right? Because there they are, in the wilderness worshiping a cow, and here they are in the book of Tobit afterwards, having set up another cow to worship, right? Let's get verse 5 here, Ben.
Now all the tribes which together revolted, and the house of my father Naphtali sacrificed unto the heifer Baal.
It's heifer. It's heifer.
Heifer Baal.
Yeah. All right. And everywhere you see Baal, at least in my study, if Baal is not just a straight up cow, he has cow features. Yeah. If he's not a straight up cow, he has cow features. Right. So they couldn't get this thing out of their mind. They failed the test, man. Here, Brother Tobit is telling us the whole of the northern tribes was sacrificing to a cow, man. Let's go to Hosea 8. We'll read 5 and 6. Let's get that, please, Ben.
Thy calf, O Samaria, hath cast thee off. Mine anger is kindled against them. How long will it be ere they attain to innocency?
Innocency.
Innocency.
Right, so the Most High is saying, yo, the damn cow you're worshiping, Northern Kingdom, Samaria, spoil you, man. It mash you up clean. And I'm vexed, right? And he said, how long is it gonna be before you come back to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man? Right? And then he says what?
For from Israel was it also. The workmen made it. Therefore it is not Yahweh, but the calf of Samaria shall be broken in pieces.
Right? And the brother tell you straight up what's going on. Hosea understood, man. Hey, this thing came from the damn Northern Kingdom. He said a workman made it. Therefore, it's not Yahweh, right? And it's gonna get mashed up. That's why he says in another place that even upon the idols of the Gentiles there will be a judgment. He's gonna destroy the idols of the Gentiles as well. Okay. Last one, Hosea 10:5. Let's get this, man.
The inhabitants of Samaria shall fear because of the calves of Bethaven, for the people thereof shall mourn over it, and the priests thereof that rejoiced on it for the glory thereof, because it is departed from it.
Right. So they're gonna bawl and cry for a bag of cows as well. So they failed, man. Yahweh showed them his power over the bovine. He used the bovine in the places where he wanted to use them. He presented it as a test to Israel, man, to try them in the fire, man, and they failed because they still went about and still go about worshiping the cow, man. Right? Even today, as I showed with the symbols of Babylon, Edom, America, all the same thing. Egypt, Assyria, all the same thing. Their symbol in this current capitalist system is the bull, man. It's the cow, same cow, right? And if it's not the bull on Wall Street, it's the statue of Moloch. I think it's in Italy or something like that. Right? So this same worship of Baal, which goes right back to Satan again, is here today, right? So anyway, that's the question I had. Why did Hebrews keep worshiping cows? And the answer is they didn't believe Yahweh, man. Right? They were not, they didn't do like Abraham and believe Yahweh and have it accounted to them as righteousness. They believed the nations around them. And so keep worshiping the cow. Right? So that's my thing. Any other questions people have? Because this is Q&A. Right? Was that pretty clear for people?
Yes.
All right. All praises. Yeah, so yeah, what other questions you guys got?
I have a question. So I've had conversations with people many times.
Excuse
People
me.
don't seem to understand, but did the Most High create other humans or other people in the earth at the same time that Adam and Eve was alive?
Did the Most High create he created other people before Adam and Eve. So
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want some precepts to show that or?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we gotta go back to Genesis and it tells you it's very early. It tells you he sent he created man and woman and sent them out to replenish the earth, which means to fill the earth. And then he created Adam and Eve and he placed them in the garden of the Most High to keep it. So the first holy people were Adam and Eve. That's what it is. So let's look at that. See here. I think it's in chapter 1. Okay. All right. This is Genesis 1:27. I'll go from 26. And Yahweh said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. So let us make man in our image and our likeness, and let him, what does it say here? Them, not him. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, fowl of the air, cattle, earth, every creeping thing that keepeth upon the earth. So Yahweh created man in his own image. In the image of Yahweh created he him. So is it them or is it him? Well, it says male and female created he them. And Yahweh blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So when the Most High created man and woman, he said, do what? Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. Let me see if I can pull this up. Genesis 1. And 27. I mean, we don't need to do this, but I'm gonna go there anyway. Oh, where's the interlinear? What did I want to grab from here? It's 28. And blessed them God and said to them, God, be fruitful, multiply, and do what? See that here? Sister Reach. So it says here in 28 to replenish the earth. Yahweh blessed them. Yahweh said to them, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth, like as in fill it back. But what it actually says is to fill the place. Okay. So this is the first thing that happened. The Most High made man and woman, and then he told them to go and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Okay. Yahweh said, behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, etc., etc. So he tells them, fill the earth. Step 1, Genesis 1. So man and woman go out and fill the earth. Now, the Most High makes Adam, right? And then what does he say after he makes Adam? That's a pretty general question. You guys might not know where I'm going with that. So let's just look at it. Let's see here, just bear with me. Yahweh formed, this is Genesis 2 now, verse 7. And Yahweh God formed Yahweh Elohim, or Yahweh the power, Yahweh the ruler, formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Right? The word for man and the word for Adam is the same. I happen to believe that this actually says Adam. And I'll show you the evidence to the precepts. Yahweh planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Again, I believe this says Adam, but nonetheless, out of the ground made Yahweh to grow every tree that's pleasant to the sight, etc., etc. Here's what I want. So you want to note Genesis 2, 7, and 8. Okay, you want to note that. And then you want to note Yahweh, the power, took the man, put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. All right? What does that mean? We'll get into that. Remind me, please, because in the New Testament, it tells you exactly what dress it and keep it means. People read Genesis like it's just a straight up account, but Genesis is also very, what's the word? Metaphorical, right? It's very, there's a lot of prophecy in Genesis, okay? We'll get back to this. I want to keep it simple. Yahweh commanded the man, saying, of every tree, okay, that's not what I want. Here's what I want. So note also 18, to add to the two other verses that I gave you a second ago. Note also 18. Yahweh God said, or Yahweh the power said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. What did we read in Genesis chapter 1 happened with man and woman?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What did we read happened in Genesis 1 with man and woman? The Most High made them, and then what did he do?
He told them to fill the earth.
He told them to fill the earth. He made man and woman and told them to fill the earth. So how come in Genesis 2 here, we're reading that the Most High made man, and then he said, it's not good that the man should be alone. But I thought he made the two of them together and sent them to fill the earth. So why is he now saying, oh, I made Adam, and then I'm saying, well, it's not good for him to be alone. I'm going to make a helper for Adam, right? It's because it's not the same account, right? Now, someone might say, oh, you can't prove that. Well, all we got to do is go to Cain and Abel. Right? Let's see, Cain took a wife. Right? Anybody who says this is not true has to explain where the wife Cain took came from, because it wasn't from his mom. There's nowhere in the Bible that tells you there was other people other than what we just read in Genesis 1, where he tell you he make man and woman and he send them to fill the earth. That's pretty explicit, but people read that as Adam and Eve. But there's a separate account of Adam and Eve in Genesis 2. That's what's happening. And we know because here we see where Cain took a wife. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, this is even good too. I think it's here in chapter 4. Let's read the whole chapter. So here, note this as well. Look at this. Note this as well, because they need to explain why the scriptures tell you in Genesis 4, verse 14. This is to add to the other precepts of the proofs. Cain says, right? We can start at 13. Cain said to Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Well, what punishment? Because at this point in time, according to their explanation, there's supposed to be Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. That's it. 4 people on earth. But what do you call it? Cain says, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. Who would find him if there's only 4 people on earth? You see that? Sister Ray,
Yeah,
who would find him?
yeah,
If there's only 4 people on earth, who gonna find him and slay him?
true.
You understand?
Yeah, yeah,
So you can put it to them, you have to put these scriptures to them, say, well, the man said people gonna slay him. Which people? If there's only 4.
yeah. I've tried to explain, I guess like the verse before when he said he created them, that it
Yeah,
is one, but you know, some people still, but it's good to have the other precepts to add to that, yeah.
for sure, because you want to paint a clear picture, right? Because I always think about how people are gonna rebuttal various precepts that you show.
Mm-hmm.
So when the gate is wide, you can rebuttal.
That's
But if the precepts create no gap, how are you gonna rebuttal that? There's no gap. All the questions you want to ask, they're answered, because you need to tell me who's the other people that was gonna slay him if there's only 4 of them, right? These kind of questions close the gaps so that a thing that could be true is showing itself to be true through the precepts. Make sense?
that's right.
Yeah. So this is a good one, 14 here, 13 and 14. And then you can ask, well, who was gonna slay Cain? Well, we know it's the other people that were there, which now goes back and strengthens your Genesis 2 point that you had. Oh, sorry, the Genesis 1 point showing that uh uh the Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 is the account of 2 different sets of people being created. And we can strengthen this even further by going into what exactly is meant by uh, being put into the garden to keep it. Because in the New Testament, Yahushua tells a parable of a man that goes into a faraway land and leaves people in a garden to keep it. You see? And this wasn't what's the word? Literal. He was talking about leaving spiritual leaders in order to build up his nation while he went and do what he had to do to prepare the kingdom. And then he tells you, oh, they killed the people that he left, and then he sent his son, and then finally they killed the son, right? So we can look at that, but I just want to keep it simple with this, and just let me think for a second if there's anything else I want to add to this um to strengthen that. And if anyone thinks of any precepts that would strengthen this as well, definitely feel free to add to it, right? So let me see here. So Cain, there was other people for Cain, and he was afraid that other people slew him. Trying to think of what else I wanted to say. The wife. That's the other one I wanted to bring. Yeah, and that should be enough. And those are simple and straightforward. Yeah. The wife. Okay. There we go. Right here, still in the same chapter, right? If you just hop down 2 verses. Cain went out from the presence of Yahweh and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. So the Most High is even telling you where the people was. And Cain knew his wife, man. And she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. Okay. So these should be enough. Cain also took a wife. Well, if there was Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel, who did he marry? And he killed Abel. He married his mom? That's not in the Bible. That's illegal, right? They didn't have no sisters. And people try to create these other people in other places by these books called the Apocalypse of Adam and all these extra books that they write. And these are false books, they are not real. When the answer is in the scriptures already, right? So I think you should be well equipped with those couple of verses there. Is that good, or you want anything else added to that, Sister H?
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, no problem.
The praises.
All praises to the Most High. Allah Yahweh. Yeah, so any other questions, guys? We might, I think we have room for at least another two. Burning questions, hard questions, man. Things you're just wondering about, like, why the heck is this happening? Why is Yahweh like this? Why this? Why that? All the tough questions, man. Bring them out today. Yeah, go ahead. I think that was Hausa Micah.
Where did Yahushua get baptized?
Say again.
Where did Yahushua get baptized?
Where?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where did Yahushua get baptized? I think it was in the Jordan River, but I have to double check. Okay, 1 second. Um, da, 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 da. It's in the book of John. Mhm. Bear with me a second. Mhm. Bear with me 1 sec. This is John saying he's baptizing with water. There we go. Where John was baptizing. Okay. All right. So here, this is John chapter 1 and verse 28. Write this down. So John was baptizing in Bethabara, okay, beyond Jordan. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And it says Yahushua came the next day, and he said, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. This is he of whom I said, After me cometh a man, which is preferred before me, for he was before me. And I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel. Therefore am I come, baptizing with water. So you could go until verse 31. 32. 33. Go to 33. My bad. All right. You got that, Ruth?
Yep.
All praises. All right. Any other questions, family? Any other burning questions? Don't be afraid if it's something different than what I teach, all of these things, man. The Bible will make everything clear. Right? So if there's a certain understanding you don't get, or just a deep question you have. Everyone's good? Ben, any questions from you? And you don't have to ask a question if you don't have a question. I'm just asking if there's anything that is on your spirit that you want to ask about.
No,
Ben?
really.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe take the week, right? Because I always tell you, for you to learn more about the scriptures, you gotta inquire, right? So, okay, if that's all the questions, family, we'll wrap it up with that. We'll blow the trumpet, we'll pray, and I pray you guys enjoy the rest of the Shabbat. And if you have more questions, bring it next week, you know, or just shoot me a message, and then we'll deal with it. All right. So let's. Or did I miss something in the chat? You guys are good in the. Okay. All right. Cool. Don't think I missed anything. Wait a second. Oh, here we go. So let's get the trumpet blown.
Shalom, shalom, the house of Israel. Hey, it's another beautiful evening. It's about to come in. You already know we're getting ready for the Shabbat, right? So Shabbat shalom to all my family out there. I'm gonna go ahead and let it rip. This is my tradition. Every Shabbat, I like to bring it in. You know what I'm saying? And when the Shabbat's going on, I like to take it out. You know what I'm saying? In peace, in shalom, and great salutations. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and let it rip, and we're gonna make the heathens mad. You hear what I'm saying? Here it is. Here we go. Shabbat shalom, the king is coming. Bless y'all.
I'm about my father's business. I'm about my father's business. This mission has no limits. This mission has no limits. Stacking his knowledge to spend it. Stacking his knowledge to spend it. Don't even need me a minute.
All right, all praises. So for the people that are gonna watch this video later on, you know, if you got questions about the Most High, it doesn't matter how ridiculous you think the question is. Once it's a genuine question that you have about the Most High and how he operates, throw it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer your question straight out of the scriptures, man. Because you know, a religion and colonization has created a picture of the creator of the universe that is simply not true. So the Most High has sent Hebrews like myself to correct these understandings so that the Negro, first and foremost, who is the biblical Israelite, can build upon the foundation, the only foundation that can give him life, even life everlasting. And that the sincere strangers who seek to please the creator of the universe might have the proper path to doing so. Right. So you guys stay in touch, whether by following or subscribing. And we'll see you guys in the next video. And to the people that have destroyed the Most High's people, the colonizer, the Most High has reserved for you utter destruction, and you shall surely have it at his hand. He will repay the evil that you have done to his people, and you cannot escape. So for the other people that are on the line, just stay, we'll pray out, and then we'll be out.